Sundays at 2 o'clock.
Big 550 KTRS. He's a friend of the show. Good man. Stuart Rosenblum is with us. He runs Stuart's American Mortgage. He has the bagel loan. We'll get to that in a second. But we'd like you to come on from time to time and talk interest rates and the Fed. What is Janet Yellen thinking? What's going on here?
Well, I think more interestingly is to look at what Stanley Fischer, who's the vice chairman, has said about a day or two ago.
Aha.
He said that the growth of the entire country has been pretty bad. Up to about 2009, 2005, really. We've had 3% growth. After that, since that point, we've been at 2% growth. And he forecasts that we're going to be in this sluggish economy for a long time. Productivity is low. Growth is low. We're talking about worldwide now.
Right.
And so even employment, all the baby boomers are retiring, which means a smaller workforce, and we're not innovating, we're not producing. The only thing that's going to change that is if we start spending money. And corporations are not spending money. So the only alternative to spend money is our good U.S. government. And both candidates have threatened that they're going to start spending a lot of money on education and other things that we need, which is in turn going to hopefully improve our growth in our economy, i.e. interest rates are going to go up.
Aha. That's long term.
That's long term. After he made those statements and after Yellen had made the statements about a week ago about pressing the interest rate issue and forcing the economy to do better.
Right.
And that's what she thinks is going to happen at least. All of a sudden, interest rates have started to rise on that incline. So I think we have a short window of opportunity left.
Right. Now, even if interest rates go up, people still refinance their house, people still buy homes, people still get rid of their credit card debt, and so on and so forth.
Absolutely. I mean, the only time that people aren't going to be doing those things is when they don't need money. And I don't see that happening in your forecast.
Which is why, as interest rates go down, they want to use you because you save them as much money as possible with the no interest or no closing cost loan. But as it goes up, right, if interest rates are going up and you're still not getting as good a deal as you were getting or whatever else, the fact that you don't charge them anything is much more reason to call you now more than ever.
It's a big deal. And what people have been calling about and listening to our show, they get to learn about this, is they're starting to be smart and compare APRs, which is the annual percentage rate. What happens is if you take closing costs and other types of things like PMI and you factor it in as if it's an interest or part of your interest rate, you get a number that's higher than what your note rate is. So I've had people starting to call and say, hey, what's your APR? What's that person's APR? And if our interest rate's an eighth of percent higher, which it rarely ever is,
right,
they find out that the APR is pretty much the same exact as the interest rate that we're offering. When they go to someone else is offering a lower rate, but the APR is like 0.5% higher. Well, bingo, that's where you have all your closing costs and fees that are being charged. So you're actually paying more even though your note rate is lower.
So there's a way to compare these things through this APR number?
That's right. If you take the APR and you call me on the APR and you call a competitor, you're going to see our APR is way lower and pretty much neck and neck to what the actual interest rate is that we're giving you.
So what does APR stand for?
Annual percentage rate.
Annual percentage rate. So, and do people willingly give this out?
They have to.
Oh.
They have to. And that's one of the biggest factors that you can properly compare between different mortgage institutions to see if you're getting the best deal.
That's worth its weight in gold right there. So you call up somebody and say, what's your APR? And they tell you, and you say, thank you very much, I'm shopping around for a loan. Then they call you, and because you don't have any closing costs, your APR is consistently lower than everybody else.
Neck and neck, usually with the interest rate.
Yeah, but consistently lower than everybody else.
Consistently lower. I have found very few instances where the rate is actually lower, but usually it's those advertisements by other institutions where they're trying to wheel you in or reel you in, if that's the proper verbiage,
right,
and get you to come in with the lower rate. And then they, in fine print, they say, oh, APR, blah, 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 and it's usually significantly higher.
So don't necessarily look for the interest rate. That's the marketing ploy. The APR is the real number.
You want to look at both and see what kind of a gap there is between the two. If they're pretty much neck and neck, you know you don't have a lot of cost. If there's a big gap, something's going on that you don't know about.
You can do that, or you can just call Stuart at Stuart's American Mortgage.
Just call me. We've got the bagel loan. The APR is pretty much the same as your note rate.
And you love to tell me stories about how people come to you and say, I couldn't get financed, and you finance them.
We've had tons of instances. We just closed an individual today that's been at 3 other institutions. They were self-employed in 2014. They had lost a tremendous amount of money. 2015, they made money. They went to 3 institutions. Those institutions averaged the income over a 2-year period. And because they averaged that income, the person didn't qualify. They came to us. We happen to know that Freddie Mac guidelines only require 1-year tax returns. We completely ignored a 2014 loss. They got approved, and we closed them last week.
So you closed Donald Trump this week?
We can't talk about individual. We can't talk about individual cases.
Mortgages and more. Good man, Stuart Rosenblum, 314-324-4440. Looking to refinance a house, get rid of their credit card debt, buy a home, whatever it may be. Stuart's American Mortgage. Stuart'sAMC.com, 314-324-4440. Is that really your personal cell phone number?
My personal cell phone. It's the only cell phone I carry, and I get constant calls by people saying, wow, we actually got a hold of you direct.
And is it true that the drunks behind us were really annoying at that baseball game?
Yes. Remember that picture I texted you?
You guys are still talking about that?
I've closed a number of loans in the last 2 weeks, and everybody remembers the story of the 4 drunks.
Stuart'sAMC.com. Stuart, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
836 KTRS.